the heart and the sword. In a kingdom where the sky stretched infinitely, painted in shades of fire and dusk, two queens ruled opposite realms. One was the Queen of Hearts, reigning over the land of warmth, compassion, and endless giving. The other, the Queen of Swords, held dominion over the cold, sharp land of reason, calculation, and absolute logic. The two never met in person, yet their forces constantly clashed, shaping the balance of the world. The Queen of Hearts, love without limits. The Queen of Hearts sat on a throne woven from vines, blooming with roses that never wilted. Her realm was golden with morning light, filled with laughter, open arms, and endless feasts where no one was turned away. She was beloved. Her people adored her for her kindness, her willingness to give without question, her unwavering faith in love. But her heart, so full, often overflowed. She gave to those who would take advantage, forgave before understanding, and trusted even when deception was clear. Her love, boundless and unguarded, was sometimes a weakness. It left her vulnerable, and in the shadows of her generosity, parasites grew, people who fed off her kindness without returning it. Her land began to suffer, not from cruelty but from excess. The people grew complacent, expecting rather than working, demanding rather than appreciating. The Queen of Swords, the cold edge of truth. In the farthest reaches beyond the warmth of the heart's domain stood the kingdom of the Queen of Swords. Her throne was made of silver, etched with the wisdom of 1,000 lifetimes. The sky above her castle was the color of steel, unyielding and clear. Her kingdom was one of order. The strong survived, the intelligent thrived, and emotions were considered weaknesses. She cut through deception, exposed the truth, and wielded logic like a weapon. Those who lived under her rule feared her but respected her precision. Yet in her unwavering pursuit of logic, she lost sight of warmth. Her people were efficient but cold, thriving in industry but starving in spirit. They did not know love, only survival. And in their endless quest for knowledge and structure, they built walls so high that even the sun could not reach them. Her sword was sharp, but it severed connection as much as it did illusions. The balance between them. One day a traveler, a wandering philosopher, crossed both lands, experiencing their extremes. In the land of the Queen of Hearts, he feasted, he danced, he felt love in its purest form. But he also saw the cracks, the exhaustion in the Queen's eyes as she gave too much, the people taking more than they needed. In the land of the Queen of Swords, he learned, he sharpened his mind, and he saw the world with clarity. But he also felt the emptiness, the loneliness of logic without love, the bitterness of truth without grace. He came to understand neither queen was wrong, neither queen was right. Alone their kingdoms suffered, but together they could thrive. The traveler wrote letters to both queens, urging them to meet at the center of the world, where neither love nor logic ruled supreme, but where balance could be found. The Queen of Hearts arrived with open arms, hopeful. The Queen of Swords arrived with caution, skeptical. They spoke for days, each trying to convince the other of their way. The Queen of Hearts believed that love was the ultimate truth, that even in the coldest hearts, warmth could bloom. The Queen of Swords countered, saying that love without boundaries was dangerous, that without discernment, love could be manipulated and turned into something destructive. The argument continued until the traveler stood between them and spoke. A heart without a sword is defenseless. A sword without a heart is ruthless. Together, they form the balance that keeps the world whole. For the first time, the queens truly listened. The Queen of Hearts learned to set boundaries, to give, but with wisdom. She saw that true compassion was not endless sacrifice, but knowing when to say no, when to protect, when to guard the heart from those who would take without giving. The Queen of Swords learned to soften, to wield her truth with grace. She saw that wisdom was not in cutting everything apart, but in knowing when to hold back, when to nurture, when to let the heart lead instead of the mind. Together they returned to their kingdoms with new wisdom. The land of the heart flourished, no longer burdened by those who took advantage, but still radiant with love. The land of the sword began to glow with warmth, its people finding meaning beyond mere survival. And at the center of the world where the two met, a new kingdom was born. Not of heart alone, nor of sword alone, but of both in harmony. For true power is not in choosing between love or logic, but in knowing when to wield each.